Are you committing mortgage fraud? Well, today we are going to talk about New York's Attorney General, Letitia James, who allegedly is out in these real estate streets committing mortgage fraud. We're going to talk about it to make sure that you are not doing the same thing. So stay tuned. Welcome back to the Real Estate and Wealth Podcast, where we talk about how to make real estate easy for you to understand. And I would love for you to do me a favor and make sure you like this episode to help me out, as well as subscribe to my channel so you know anytime new episodes drop. And I want you to watch this all the way to the end. This is going to probably be a 3 or 4 day series on the different aspects of her alleged nefarious acts in real estate. Today, we're going to talk about primary versus investment property and what is the difference? Because I know some of you might be feeling like, what's the big deal, whether if it's a primary or it's an investment property? Well, it is a big difference, and we're going to talk about it so you understand, so you do not make this mistake. Now, what prompted me to do this is I was taking a buyer client out, and they were considering buying a single family home, or they want to also invest in real estate. They are looking to retire in the next few years, and they wanted to have that investment income coming in. And they were considering buying a multi-unit, which is awesome. Right. So thinking about the houses that they were looking at, these were 4 and 5 bedroom houses with everything: separate living room, separate dining room, family room, beautiful kitchens, nice outdoors, huge basements, lavish primary suites. And so, of course, my next question was going to be, okay, if you buy a multi-unit, are you planning on living in one of the apartments? Because it's going to most likely be like an apartment style if you wanted like a 3 to 4 unit building. And it is more expensive than the properties we were looking at. And so this is where it like hurt a little bit, because they had said they talked to their lender, and the lender told them that, well, they can just say that it's their primary residence because they don't have any other properties on their credit. And I said, but are you going to live in this property? And they said, probably not. And I said, that is mortgage fraud. Now, I'm not telling you what to do or what not to do, but I don't think I would do it. And especially right now, because this case with Letitia James is really being highlighted in the news. Now, maybe it's not in the regular, like your local news, but in New York, it definitely is. And if she is convicted of it, it is going to be a major thing. So why not just be careful ahead of time and not put yourself in that situation? So let's talk about the difference between primary and investment property and why it does matter. So with the primary residence, first and foremost, is the residence that you are living in. That is your primary residence, hence the term primary residence, right? And an investment property is usually a property that you purchase that's going to be income producing. You're looking to make money off of that property, and you're going to rent those units out. Now, people might be asking, what about house hacking? And house hacking is great, but you do need to live in one of the units. And I believe you only need to live in the unit for a year, and then you can move out and buy something else. Some people make a career out of house hacking. They'll just buy a multi-unit, live in it for a year, and then buy another multi-unit, live in that one for a year, and then buy another multi-unit and live in that one for a year. Which is great if that is your strategy in being able to buy investment properties for better terms than if you're buying it as an investment property and you're not going to live in it. So that is the difference between primary and investment. Now, Why is this such a big deal with Letitia James, who is the New York Attorney General? Well, it's a big deal because there are some benefits that you can get depending on which way you choose. Now, if you are buying a property and it's going to be your primary residence, then you are going to get better terms in terms of your interest rate and your down payment. So let's start with the down payment. If it's your primary residence, you can use FHA financing and you can pay as low as 3.5% to purchase this property. 3.5% down. So if you're looking at $100,000 property, and I know it's not in this area, in the DMV area, finding a multi-unit at 100,000 is a needle in a haystack. But we're just going to use this for simple math. 3.5% of 100,000 is $3,500 as a down payment. That's amazing, right? Well, if it is an investment property, remember, an income producing property that you're not living in, it's not your primary residence, then your down payment now can jump from 15 to 25% down. That's $15,000 to $25,000 down. As you can see, that's a huge difference in the amount of money that you need to put down on the property to purchase. So by saying that this is going to be your primary residence, you save money out of pocket. And in this case, what Letitia James allegedly did was say that the property that she bought in Norfolk, Virginia was a primary residence. Now she is living in New York, and working in New York as the Attorney General. So that can't be your primary residence in Virginia if you're living and working in New York. So that is an issue, and that is mortgage fraud. The second thing to consider with the difference between a primary residence and investment property is your interest rate. So the interest rate for your primary residence is usually going to be lower than an investment property. It might be a point or so higher in interest if you are buying an investment property. The reason being is that it is more risky for a bank to finance an investment property. The reason why it's more risky is because if you fall on hard times, which mortgage are you going to make sure you pay? Is it going to be the mortgage for the house that you live in with you and your family? Or is it going to be that investment property that you do not live in? Most likely, most people are going to say that they are going to make sure that they pay the mortgage for the house that they live in, and they may default on the investment property. So it's a higher risk for the bank. And that's why they need to know, are you living in this property? Is it an investment property? If you check that box that says this is your primary residence, then you qualify for those better terms. It is an unfortunate fact that as the Attorney General, she should know better. So if she did do this, she should know better that this would not work. But she did do it. So we are going to see what happens with this case. But I want to make sure that you, when you are looking to buy a house, that you understand the difference and you don't let anyone convince you into selecting primary residence when you know that you're not planning on living in this property, because at the end of the day, the person that's going to go down is you and not necessarily your lender. It's your choice that you make, that you select, and you sign documents stating that this will be your primary residence at closing. So I want you, if you haven't done it already, make sure you like this episode as well as subscribe. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about another aspect of this alleged act that Letitia James did, and so that it can help you not make the same mistakes as she allegedly made. Look forward to seeing you on the next episode.